And action. Well, this video, of course, was late because I had to focus on getting some cars for my retro races in Gran Turismo 7, using whatever cars I could find in that game, and trying to use them for races that replicate certain races from older Gran Turismo games. But anyways, I can't put off for tomorrow and what can be done today because this race review needs to be finished. Greetings, NASCAR enjoyers, and Red Bull is back in NASCAR, baby! Yeah, it's the first time they sponsored Trackhouse Racing, and I can see why it is one of the most talked about things in NASCAR right now. After I got my taste of the new layout for this year's NASCAR race, I was hopeful that Shane Van Gisbergen would capture his first COTA win. After losing it to Kyle Larson in the Xfinity Series last year as he had to deal with Austin Hill, whoop-de-frickin-do. The guy wants to do everything to win. He doesn't accept loss that well, like Kyle Busch. But ironically enough, Kyle Busch is seen as a hero nowadays, whereas Austin Hill is hated by some. Yeah. Ironic, isn't it? Goes around, comes around. Our Cup Series race at the new for 2025 COTA layout begins, and Tyler Reddick takes an early lead. Impressive for the driver who is not known for road course racing. Yeah, no, Tyler Reddick is, in my opinion, not the kind of guy who I think of as a good road course driver. Just like how certain players in the NFL are known for one thing, but I shouldn't compare NASCAR to ball and stick sports, because it's different from ball and stick sports. Although certain NASCAR drivers have bigger strengths more than others. And Chase Elliott, whose first win was at Watkins Glen, fell behind as he made his mistake on the first corner. Yeah, which is saying something considering that he, just like his father, won at a road course and got his first win at a road course. Yeah, like Bill Elliott won his first race at Riverside International Raceway, not to be confused with Riverside International Speedway, which is a local short track. This one is a road course, which got demolished because people in California saw it as valuable land space. How many times have we seen this story? Rip Auto Club, man. Now it's become a short track. Connor also could have DNF'd, but thankfully the damage isn't that bad as he's still in the race. Well, he didn't DNF until later in the race. Shane Van Gisbergen jumps up to third while both 2311 cars are still in first and second, all thanks to Bubba having a new crew chief this year. Yeah, same crew chief as Christian Eckes in the Truck Series last year, by the way. Pretty cool that 2311 has unlocked Bubba Wallace's full potential. Bushy ends up battling the Bushy ends up battling the three-time V8 Supercars champion for third, while the 2311 duo hangs on to their lead like there's no tomorrow. And of course, Bubba and Tyler are, well, 1-2. Like, how Penske, well, how certain other teams would usually run to try to get an epic 1-2 finish. We get... while the 2311 duo hangs on to their lead like there's no tomorrow, we get some radio chatter from Chase Elliott himself. Ty Dillon ends up in the wall, but no caution flag is thrown. This is not as bad as Xfinity race where no caution was thrown even though Harrison Burton was a hazard to the other drivers. Still can't get over that. And Bushi also loses control and touches grass. On lap 5, Noah Gragson spins out. Yeah, just be glad there's no cautions at the moment. Shane starts battling Bubba for second, and Bubba got penalized for making a shortcut. Yeah, how many times have we heard this story before? I mean, Ross did it. He got penalized for taking a shortcut at the Indianapolis Roval long ago. So he has to do the drive of Shane, meaning that Shane gets second place, though he still can't get past Tyler Reddick. Our big story of stage 1 is Ryan Blaney moving up to 17th after starting behind. Shane starts charging ahead of Reddick as he starts battling for the lead, and his car starts having issues. Well, Tyler's car starts having issues. Shane pulls off his signature crossover maneuver and takes first. Even Kyle Busch gets past Reddick for second. It seems that Shane has gotten better even if he slows down the corners themselves. Well, sometimes. He's slower in the corners than others. With 10 to go, Shane gains a huge lead gap similar to Scotty Mack in the St. Pete race, which is ironic considering that both are from New Zealand and were 3-time V8 Supercars championship. Also, ironically enough, Scott McLaughlin was also doing pretty well until he too lost his lead. And another driver won. Alex Bowman went from 21st to 9th and pulled off one of the biggest moves in the race itself. So far, so good. No cautions. We get our first set of pit stops of the day. Chris Buescher has mechanical gremlins on pit road with his car stalling while trying to exit. Shane Van Gisbergen gives up the lead and decides to flip the stage to pit in for fresh tires. Thus, Bubba gets his lead back. After Shane and Bushi exit pit road, they get a Chase Elliott jump scare as he appears behind both of them. How? He fell behind after he ended up in that incident. Yeah, he slowed down significantly in that corner, and yet he's right behind them. Yeah, kind of like how Ryan Blaney finished 7th in the Daytona 500 even though his car was basically reduced to nothing. Shane blocks Bushi's passing attempt, and after the final lap of the first stage, Bubba takes the win. Chase Elliott had to go to pit road to get his totaling fixed. The other cars soon pit in under the stage caution, and Joey Logano wins the race off of pit road. What a surprise. During the stage caution, we get our Burton Smith Memorial. He sadly passed away in 2022, but his work will never be forgotten. He was a visionary, and without him we wouldn't get the Coca-Cola 600 and all those great tracks that helped expand NASCAR nationwide. The stage caution ends, and Bushi just barely manages to get away from Shane Van Gisbergen. But like Connor Stillett, Shane is just that good. Even with Kyle Busch passing Tyler Reddick for second and doing a pass on lap 27, he still can't seem to shake off Shane Van Gisbergen with him attempting a huge lead gap. AJ now jumps up to 5th, and he seems to be getting further up as he is now in 4th and gets past Willie B. We get our flashback of Chase Briscoe battling Kyle Larson. They also did that in last year's Southern 500. But it's not the first. But it's not for first this time around. It's actually for, well, the top 5. AJ is now in third and gets past the pole sitter Tyler Reddick. Another driver got a penalty, and this time it's Kyle Larson. He too exceeded track limits, so yeah, he has to do the drive-through penalty, which is bad for him. Yeah, and things are looking bad for Kyle Larson this year. I mean, he was once dominant last year, but now he's ended up in some hot water with some rather perplexing incidents, and he also nearly won the Atlanta race. So yeah, he has to do, yeah, wait, let's see. Shane gets closer to Bushy and then makes an attempt to pass him for the lead. Even though he did throw the block, Shane still manages to get past it, but now with both drivers, have to deal with AJ as, AJ once they start battling for the lead. Meanwhile, Karzilic starts moving up for the field and passes Brad K after, well, Brad Keselowski traded wraps with him. Yeah, no. They're basically wraps, yeah. Wraps, paint, call them whatever you want. Shane continues to lead while Connor gets past Ty Gibbs, and even with a more powerful Cup Series car, Connor still manages to bring his A game at the road courses. Denny also got the stop and go penalty thrown at him for exceeding track limits. What a big surprise. We get our next set of green flags pit stops of the day with Daniel Suarez and Chris Buescher stopping in for fresh rubber, and Daniel struggled while trying to exit. John Hunter Nemechek gets another penalty thrown at him after cutting across the pit lane entrance, and Willie B decides to pit. Larson has issues on pit road. Shane and Bushy both decide to enter pit road, and then all of a sudden, one of the wheels of Kyle Larson's car falls off. Yeah, he just couldn't catch a break. Ryan Preece wins the second stage after Bushy and Shane decide to flip the stage after they pitted in. Yeah, no, Bushy is a nickname that Michael Moose came up with. Yeah, I refer to some drivers as their nicknames referred to by Michael Moose. Except for Redneck You-Know-Who, as in my opinion, I found that to be, well, insulting to Dale Jr. Yeah, no, he's Redneck You-Know-Who, but my mom doesn't think it's a good nickname for him. During this stage caution, we get our next set of pit stops with Ryan Preece winning the race off of pit road. Michael McDowell decided to stay out while the rest got fuel and fresh rubber. Yeah, trying to think, why did he decide to stay out if his tires were starting to wear out? Yeah, they're really trying to extend the tire lifespan here, which is what a lot of NASCAR drivers try to do. The third and final stage begins with Michael McDowell getting past Bushy until he gets past McDowell himself. AJ started battling Bushy for the lead, and then a caution came out with Daniel Suarez and Connor Zilic involved. Yeah, that's where Connor Zilic unfortunately DNFs. This is bad for Connor Zilic as he won, well, the Xfinity Series COTA race on Saturday. Things went from bad to worse as Alex Bowman got penalized for cutting a corner, and he'll now serve a penalty. The caution ends with Kyle Busch jumping past the two road course veterans. Michael McDowell decided to make a pit stop and falls back to 34th. Noah Gragson gets past Carson Hocevar. Even with the threat of Christopher Bell, Bushy still hangs on to his lead. AJ has had enough of being behind Chase Briscoe and he finally gets past him. About time. Also in an act of revenge for what happened at last year's Chicago street course race, Chase Briscoe gets karma in the form of getting passed by Shane Van Gisbergen. After performing a failed block. Because of this, Tyler Reddick also got past him. Christopher Bell starts falling behind as his rear tires wear out like crazy. Willie B decides to pit in with 27 to go. During the next lap, Bushy decides to pit in and stayed ahead of Willie B thanks to his pit crew doing an excellent job to make sure that the washed out driver stays ahead of William Byron. AJ decides to pit in to make some adjustments and get some fresh rubber. Christopher Bell decides to pit in with 25 to go and it's his final pit stop of the day. Thus, Shane gets his lead back before he too has to pit in. Ryan Blaney gives up second place as he decided to stop for fresh rubber, meaning that Kyle Busch is now in second place. Shane decides to pit in with 22 to go and stopped in to get some fresh rubber and make some adjustments. He hands the lead over to Bushy. Shane Van Gisbergen gets past Chase Briscoe again. Our next caution gets thrown with Denny Hamlin locking up his brakes and slamming into Austin Dillon, probably as revenge for him being wrecked out at that Richmond race last year. And Austin is now stuck in the gravel trap itself. The phrase, "I'm not coming in behind you again, old man." The phrase, "I'm not coming in behind you again, old man," comes to mind here. Just replaced old man with Austin. And there you go, several drivers pit in under caution with Chase Elliott having issues on pit road. The caution ends with Kyle Busch once again getting a head start, and even though there was chaos that went on, Briscoe and Ty Gibbs trying to take each other out, no caution flag gets thrown. Kyle Busch blocked an attempt made by Christopher Bell as he does not want to give up that lead. Kyle Larson spins out and tries to start up his car, yet no caution gets thrown as he actually gets his car started. And then Christopher Bell tries to dive bomb in front of Bushy only for him to lock up his brakes up and still managed to defend second against Willie B. Shane Van Gisbergen is now in ninth with him getting passed by Ross Chastain. Christopher Bell and Kyle Busch continue to battle each other for the lead along with the threat of William Byron getting closer by. It seems that Bushy wants to win this race. Christopher Bell eventually decides to trade wraps with Kyle Busch as he still does not want to give up that lead. Even with Christopher trying to squeeze past him. Christopher's next passing attempt was successful until Bushy retaliated. Although Bell still gets the lead. This battle gets intense as Tyler then joins in. Shane Van Gisbergen jumps up to 7th, which means he no longer has the pace, unfortunately. Which is sad for him considering that he was my pick to win the race. On the final lap, Christopher Bell defends his position with Willie B and Reddick trying to get past him. Christopher Bell takes an impressive back-to-back victory, and thus he became the first driver since Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick in 2018 to do back-to-back victories, which is impressive. So yeah, this race gets a 9 out of 10 for the battle and the fact that Christopher Bell was able to pull off back-to-back victories. Yeah, Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick would be proud of his accomplishment. While Shane Van Gisbergen never got a second Cup win, Christopher Bell did what no other NASCAR driver was able to do in recent years, which makes his accomplishment that much more impressive. But anyways, what a wild ride, and we'll definitely be signing off. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, just in case you haven't already done so. Catch you guys next time. Peace out. Oh, and here's some outtakes. Christopher Bell takes an impressive back-to-back victory, as he's the first driver since another DeWalt-sponsored driver, Matt Kenseth, to do back-to-back victories. Well, he's the Christopher Bell. He's the first driver since another DeWalt-sponsored driver, Matt Kenseth. I'll read that again. And he's the first driver since another DeWalt-sponsored driver in 2003, Matt Kenseth, performed back-to-back victories.